My name is Kristy Leatham. I've lived in Queen Creek for 15 years with my husband. We've been married for 15 years. I grew up in a different religion. My dad was essentially the pastor of that church. Everything was guilt, shame, you can't do this or you don't get to the best heaven. So we put on the show at church, like everything was great and our lives were great. But meanwhile, like our home life was turmoil. So when I became a grown-up, I decided I don't want to do that anymore. I don't think it's right for my family. My husband felt the same way. He grew up the same way. As we got older and a little bit wiser, we just decided for our family that was not going to be our lifestyle. That religion wasn't going to be a part of it. But we were missing something for a really long time. And then this is where I cry. My oldest son went to the military. I just had like this fear of if he doesn't have a relationship with God, and if I don't have a relationship with God, something bad's going to happen to him. And during that time, picking up my daughter from Castile and watch this mass of children every day come across and go into Rock Point. And I thought, they're gonna close this place down. Parkouring off the walls, pushing each other in the bushes. And then there was a day where I was a little bit running late to pick her up and she wanted to get a drink, so I Apple paid her and she got a drink, and I came in to get her and she was interacting with people and playing games, and I was like, this is like the coolest hangout. Like, what is happening here? And not only were they hanging out and having fun, but I noticed that there were grown-ups there interacting with them, and it wasn't just the coffee people, it was other people playing games. And then I found out they were volunteers, and I'm like, this is amazing, and this is so cool. So that triggered something in me, and maybe this is the place, and maybe we should just check it out. From that day, and that series of time watching the Castile kids come over and watching the staff here pour into them, I was like, there's something special here. But still in the back of my head, I was like, it's just like my family growing up. Like, they put on the show for these people. Like, that's exactly what has to be happening, right? I remember as we were walking in, I said, I'm not talking to anyone. I'm not volunteering for anything. I don't want to pray about it. I don't want to read scriptures. I'm not going to meetings. I'm not doing any of those things. I don't want it to consume my life. We walked in and people were so friendly, and I'm like, how do you know this many people? And everyone was so kind and so like generous with their time. It was like Pastor Bill was talking to me, and I was like, this is wild. Like, how did this happen? My whole life, I've always been told, you'll feel the Spirit here. When you pray this way, you'll feel this. When you're in this building, you'll feel this. And that never happened for me until I started going to Rock Point. We're like playing gospel music in our cars now and reading scriptures as a family, praying as a family, and we're all happier. My father-in-law actually is at my house right now, and he's like, I don't know what's going on with Bob, but he's like glowing. And I'm like, it's Jesus. It's so weird.